He brought in 2 right tackles, and all of a sudden he's a genius. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. And today what I want to talk about is the score. And basically, they made a coach rankings, and they ranked Joe Judge and a bunch of our staff really low on this list. They ranked Joe Judge number 31, and Dave Gettleman is in the low 20s, and I think so is the Giants, offensive staff. And we're going to look and see where the Giants rank and whether I agree or disagree. Actually, I just said I disagree with this. This is complete and utter bullshit, to be totally honest. I don't really curse. Not for like a particular reason, but just like swearing usually gives off like a bad vibe. Anyway, so Joe Judge is ranked number 31, just ahead of Adam Gase. So suck it, Jets fans. We have a better coach than yours, and that's where it was about last year. Remember, they had Pat Shurmur at 24, Adam Gase at 23, based on the returning coaches. But I think Joe Judge is a better coach than Adam Gase. We haven't seen much yet, to be totally honest with you. But Adam Gase, he couldn't adjust with Sam Darnold. He leaves Ryan Tannehill, and all of a sudden Ryan Tannehill is like, number 3, number 4 quarterback in the league, or at least he's playing like it. Where Joe Judge is ranked behind Matt Patricia, the guy who, comes to the Lions, the 9-win team, and the GM personally states, this is unacceptable. The owner said, this is unacceptable. We're firing Bill Caldwell, I think it was at the time. And then you win 9 games in the next 2 years. I know, I get it. You're in some of the games. They almost beat the Chiefs, but the reason why they lost is because of Matt Patricia. The reason why they were in the game wasn't because of Matt Patricia. The reason why they lost because he doesn't make good play calls. He sticks to his defense, a 3-man front. He doesn't blitz. And you have a poor secondary that, we really got exposed at the end of last year. You brought in David Blau, whatever. He played pretty well. It's just the defense couldn't stop the nosebleeds, and you had a lot of talent there. And we'll talk about more about the GM and the draft picks later. Zach Taylor, the team that just picked first in the draft, is ahead of Joe Judge. What has he done? You couldn't win with Andy. He's one of the best backups in the league now. You couldn't win with Andy Dalton. I get it. AJ Green was injured. Also dealing with a bunch of injuries. Their offensive line wasn't great. But, you couldn't fix the problem that you had with Ross. And, it's just that, you would expect him to be able to, since he's an offensive guru, for them to put up points. They were one of the worst offensive teams last year, but their penalties were buttoned up at least, Doug Marrone, really? They had one stint in the AFC Championship, and then, he hasn't won over the past couple of years. That's called an anomaly. Tom Coughlin did it twice. That's not an anomaly. He didn't, really perform well with the Jaguars because he didn't get with the times. But Doug Marrone, I'm sure he's a smart guy. I'm sure he's smarter than me, but, his production hasn't really shown it. Matt Rule, he's going to struggle this year, but Matt Rule is solid. I wanted Matt Rule. I'm not trying to be like the Dwayne Haskins crowd that's just like, no, Dwayne Haskins on the Redskins, he sucks. We're Giants fans. We obviously, have to be on the anti-Dwayne Haskins train, but there's that. Dan Quinn at number 25, he made it to a Super Bowl, but what has he done since? The collapse of the Falcons, he has a roster now that has the MVPs from, 2015. And we'll see what he does. But he's a defensive-minded guy. Let's focus more on that with Keanu Neal, Cleveland Farrell. This secondary has been able to perform. It has been a little bit because of injury, but Vic Beasley, he was a top 10 pick, I believe, and you couldn't make him successful. You got rid of him, and we'll see how they do this year. I think they're a 7-9 team, and there's a reason why. They went 1-7, and they saved their season. Let's keep the coach because there's an optimistic future. That doesn't really work like that. Cliff Kingsbury, the jury's still out on. I think he deserves to be 23. Mike McCarthy's smart. I don't really disagree with anything. Anthony Lynn, this is a big year for him. Matt LaFleur, he did go 13-3. I think he should be lower on this list. But, he went 13-3. That's fairly impressive. And overall, I agree with the rest of the list. You have your Bill O'Brien. He's a good head coach. He's a good head coach, not a great general manager. I'd probably have him lower than 17. But, Joe Judge deserves to be at least 23. Actually, I wouldn't have made the list with new coaches because it's impossible to tell. Let's go to the coordinators list because they have us really low on that list too. Right behind the Miami Dolphins, Detroit Lions, Houston Texans, Bengals, Rams. There's us at number 27. Former head coach is now our offensive coordinator. It was just the coordinators. They didn't include the coaching and the coaching staff. I believe we're a top 20 coaching staff as it is. The Carolina Panthers are ahead of us with Phil Snow, some old guy. I think he's old. I forget his age. And Joe Brady, who, I get it, LSU, but he did it in college. Can he do it in the NFL? He hasn't proven that he can do it in the NFL. He was out of the Saints. I kind of understand that the Carolina Panthers at 26, but the Jets, Greg Williams, I guess the defense is good. The offensive coordinator, never heard of him in my life. Then you have the Washington Redskins, who, Scott Turner, very young. Jack Del Rio, that's respectable right there. The Denver Broncos have Pat Shurmur and Ed Donatell. You're telling me that Jason Garrett and Patrick Graham aren't better than those two? I think that they're better. I mean, Pat Shurmur got fired from a 4-12 team. Jason Garrett got fired from an 8-8 team, a team that was 10-6 every single year. Jacksonville Jaguars, same thing. We had a choice, and we chose Jason Garrett. Jay Gruden, I think Jason Garrett's better than. And then Todd Wash, I've never heard of him. I can't really comment a lot about that. I'm not gonna lie. Overall, I mean, the Atlanta Falcons, Dirk Cutter, he got fired from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because he couldn't do anything on the offensive side. And we saw their putrid offense last year that couldn't move the ball whatsoever, even when they had a bunch of talent like Julio Jones, Austin Hooper. And you see what Austin Hooper does in Baltimore this year. That's all I got to say. The Indianapolis Colts, never heard of their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Nick Sirianni and Matt, I can go on and on about these guys. I don't know much about them. But what I know is Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator, that sort of thing. He may be a better defensive coordinator than a head coach, but he was a putrid head coach. And I can't really argue for the top guys. Pittsburgh Steelers, Tampa Bay, they have good coordinators there. I can't hold the card on that. But 27, that's disrespectful. And let's go on to the general managers, because they ranked Dave Gettleman, I think, a bottom 2 guy. No, they rank him 29, bottom 4. The Jacksonville Jaguars have a bad, GM. So do the Texans. A lot of hate for the AFC South there. Andrew Berry of the Browns. He makes 2 moves in his entire career, and all of a sudden he's better than Dave Gettleman. Dave Gettleman said he might retire. It's crazy because just remember when it was just oh, is he going to get fired? He might get fired. But he's 70 years old. He's a survivor of cancer. No, free agency hasn't made the best moves. Bringing in Alec Ogletree with the trade wasn't the best move. Nate Solder, we all know. But Dave Gettleman at least knows he has his priorities right, and he's drafted really well. Andrew Berry, we haven't seen anything from him for him to prove anything. Oh, what did he do? He brought in Austin Hooper. He traded for somebody. He brought in 2 right tackles, and all of a sudden he's a genius. I don't understand what they're trying to do there. Ron Rivera, I understand. Redskins, I made a video saying that they had an underrated offseason. He, I think, is the de facto general manager there. I didn't know that. That's quite interesting. Then you have Joe Douglas of the Jets. He's made some good choices. Didn't overpay for wide receivers and stuff. We'll see how good he does in the draft. This was his first draft, because last year they mismanaged it with firing their GM right after the draft. Denzel Mims, Mekhi Becton, those seem like solid players. We'll see if Mekhi ends up working out. But Bob Quinn at 25, I mean, we mentioned this before with Matt Patricia. You have Jared Davis, who you selected in the first round. He's the worst linebacker in the league, pretty much, ranking-wise. You haven't really had any steals in the draft. You traded for Damon Sachs-Harrison. He doesn't want to play. Matt Patricia is flaky with a bunch of characters. So him and Matt Patricia, between Matt Patricia not relating to the guys and Bob Quinn not hiring and bringing in top-end talent that's going to be able to fit his system, there's a question there. But now, this is it. Ryan Pace with the Bears. I mean, Mitch Trubisky is all you need. He's just admitting now he's making mistakes. So many pitfalls. You want to give him credit for Khalil Mack? Well, he traded 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, and they needed to win 2 years ago, and they didn't. And I feel like the window is closed for the Bears. I think Nick Foles is a late regular season quarterback. Marty Herney, are you kidding me? Dave Gettleman is a way better drafter, just mano-a-mano. We saw that. He drafted Christian McCaffrey. What did Marty Herney draft? I guess Luke Kuechly, and that was it. Dave Gettleman had significantly better drafts, and that's why they made the Super Bowl in 2015. Where are the Carolina Panthers now? You could say Cam Newton's injured, but yeah, I think you guys understand my point there. And then I can't really argue with a lot of other people. Jason Licht from the Buccaneers, he's made some really good moves, but he brought in a 42-year-old quarterback. Who's their backup? Okay, are you going to rely on your really young secondary to pull through? I don't really like that much, and that's why I'm kind of a little bit skeptical of the Buccaneers. Steve Keim with the Cardinals, he's made some good moves this offseason. He's done well overall with drafting. Josh Jones was his deal, and last year you did really well, but you didn't really address your offensive line last year or this year. You brought in Josh Jones, and that was pretty much it, and I think they're going to get burned from that. But overall, I mean, Les Snead with the Rams, he's making mistakes on mistakes on mistakes. He's just let's pay players. Ultimate spending guy, and all of a sudden he's a genius now because he traded Todd Gurley and Brandon Cooks. I don't understand the thought behind that. I think Dave Gettleman's a better GM than Les Snead. And I don't, Thomas Dimitrov, how is he ranked 12? Again, he brought in the All-Star team from 2015, but, it's 2020 now, and I don't think it's really going to work there. He's a high gambler, high risk, high reward, but, apparently they were going to get, they were supposed to get the number 2 defensive tackle, Javon Kinlaw, and they end up with A.J. Terrell. Not that confident in him. He can wear his hat backwards all he wants. He can act like he's cool all he wants, but, we're going to need to see results. And who's their backup quarterback when, Matt Ryan gets hurt? You need to start thinking about those things. But overall, I think guys catch my drift. The Giants are disrespected again. A couple of my thoughts about guys that are ahead of the Giants in this list. But let me know what you guys think. How bad is Dave Gettleman? Just kidding. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.